Týden se s týdnem sešel a já opět zdravím všechny, kteří rádi koukají na Backstage TV. Minulý týden jsme si povídali s členem kapely KORPIKLAANI a protože toho pokecu je celkem dost, tak jsme si, jak je naším zvykem, nechali další část pro tenhle díl. Tak pokračujeme. Tuomas Rounakari, KORPIKLAANI. Složili jste mimo jiné taky hymnu pro fotbalový klub. Jak tohle vlastně všechno vzniklo?
Oh, well, that's a funny thing. We have the Sahti song, and Jonne lives in a Lahti. So Sahti, Lahti, there's only a one letter difference, and the Lahti football club approached us and suggested that we would do something together, and that's how Jonne got an idea that wait a second, actually I could turn the Sahti about Lahti and and then change the lyrics here and there, and I think it's pretty awesome that there's a football club that actually has a version of a drinking song as their anthem.
Ty sám osobně jsi houslista, hraješ ovšem metal. Kde máš vlastně svoje hudební vzory?
Well, I have a very broad and very selective music taste at the same time. I like almost anything that is bizarre and almost anything that has a unique quality, that is not just another band in the genre, but rather coming up with something original. And Tom Waits, very very big influence in me, and Jethro Tull is maybe the biggest inspiration for me, especially when I was young. I still listen to those albums, all the time, but especially when I was young, I saw a lot of myself in Ian Anderson playing the flute in a progressive rock band, and also what his interviews and his wit always felt close to mine. What else? John Zorn, definitely the saxophone player from New York City, especially the band Naked City with Bill Frisell, Fred Frith, and Joey Barron. Very, very, a jazz quartet that played 30-second hardcore songs featuring a Japanese hardcore singer. That's up to my alley. Weird enough.
Hraješ v metalové kapele. Docela jsem mezi náma překvapen. Čekal jsem, že budeš mluvit o metalové hudbě nebo o kapelách.
Well, from the metal bands, Napalm Death is very close to my heart. I like their energy a lot. I've seen them live now about at least a half a dozen times, and they never disappoint. It's just an amazing energy that they generate, and I feel something very purifying in what they do. And I like their humor and their criticism. The way they combine these two things is something I really like. Faith No More has been a big thing for me, and And also, I think from the metal bands, I tend to go to the more rhythmic ones and the ones that have maintained a little bit of the blues side of the early metal than the kind of German strict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tvůj hudební nástroj jsou housle. Jaké máš vlastně housle? Případně po kterých houslích toužíš, které by si chtěl?
Well, right now I've been playing a bridge electroacoustic. Nothing wrong with it. It is a decent workhorse, I would say. But I would like to go to a real violin, back to an acoustic violin, and especially after Kulki album. I think KORPIKLAANI developed as a band with Kulki album greatly. I think it made all of us better musicians, that album. And you can hear it in Jylhä. I think Jylhä is closer to Noita album from its general sound and feel and energy. But you can feel that the band plays better than it played on Noita. And now, you know, I feel that only an acoustic violin, which is what I play in all the albums, you know, can give all those details. So I wish that I'd find a cheap enough violin, acoustic violin, that is still good to play, that I dare to take it on stage and on tours. You know, like you know, the violin that I use on studio, it's over 100 years old and has has a five-figure price tag. So you know, it's not something that I'd like to take on tour. But violins are tricky in a way that in order to have an acoustic violin that has a decent playability, the price tag is in thousands. So it's just how it is.
Velmi často se stává, že muzikanti mají doma sbírku nástrojů, kytary, baskytary, takový Mike Terána má 100 bicích. Jak jsi na tom ty s houslema?
I wish I'd had that money, you know.
Mluvil jsem s Mikem Teránou a on má skutečně 100 sad bicích souprav. To je úplně neuvěřitelné.
But you know, you can buy 100 drum cases with the price of one violin.
Yeah,
and you can also easily find a violin that you could buy 10,000 drum sets with the value.
Okay.
So there's a funny story about a man in New York City that was collecting violins, and his wife couldn't stand it, but he was secretly still keep on buying those violins secretly. So when he died, and they went through the whole house, they just ran into these like, hey, here under the sofa there's like this secret logo. Hey, there's a violin. Hey, I wonder what it is. Oh, it's Amati. It's worth 2 million.
Nice.
So okay. I think the wife was happy that he died early.
Co se týká muziky, jsi příznivec nových technologií nebo dáš třeba na staré dobré vinily?
Well, I guess I am a bit of an old-fashioned guy in that sense, but I do have to say that the music technology, all the plugins, especially Universal Audio, you know, what they make with their plugins, as you know, they've really saved my day. You know, it's like I could never afford to buy all these things as real things, but I can afford to pay for the plugins. So I am a fan of that kind of technology that brings some of the feeling of the old compressors and EQs into the very user-friendly you know, ways. So I am a fan of those things, but what goes to aesthetics and music in general, I am more for the slow listening. You know, I rather listen an album than a song. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's fun to have playlists, and you know, back in my youth, it was fun to make mixtapes for friends. Yeah. But you know, that's like, you know, when you flirting with someone, you make mixtapes. But when you really want to listen to something, you put on an album. So I do like that kind of way and approach to music, that you take time with it and you stay with the band that you wanted to listen. You stay with it for the duration of at least one album.
Prosím tě, čemu se věnuješ, když se zrovna nevěnuješ muzice?
Well, there are two sports that are fundamental to my life. One is cross-country skiing, mm-hmm. and the other one is sailing.
Plachtění to máš asi na mysli na lodi, že jo?
Yeah, on a sailboat. So I'm out there in the nature as much as I can. Mm-hmm. And you know, winter time I'm there with skis, and on the summertime I hope to be on a boat. Mm-hmm. I had to sell I had a beautiful wooden classic sailboat still 5 years ago, but I had to sell it away, which is a tragedy. But you know, I'll get a new one when the time comes.
Yeah.
New old one.
Tak, rokezi a rokerky, toto byl Tuomas Rounakari, člen kapely KORPIKLAANI, a povídání nejenom o nové desce Jylhä, ale taky o tom, co má rád, čemu se věnuje, případně nevěnuje. Další díl Backstage TV, Backstage Home Office je v závěru. Za týden ovšem pokračujeme.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.